All right, rock and roll.
You're on, man.
All right, hey, welcome. This is Jeremy. I'm your host. This is the Genesee County Compassion Club Show. Thanks for joining me today. It is October 15th. Is that right, John?
Yep, October 15th.
Yes.
You got it.
It's a bleary day here in Flint, but we're out anyways. We're going to give you the news, let you know what's happening with the Genesee County Compassion Club, give you an update on medical marijuana news around the country and what's happening here in Michigan, and talk about whatever, whatever you guys want to talk about. And we still got the call-in number, I think.
We do have it, but actually right now with the, I have to plug it back in for a second, because when I use the other other software, it used up so much resource, so let me plug it
Technical difficulties.
in. And it's fitting though, you're in a green room, subject matter you're talking about. So.
Yeah, it's almost like you painted this room for our show.
Yeah, it's like, but actually in the future you'll be able to see, images up there relevant to whatever shows up, so.
Right on. I'm talking to John, the producer, the man behind the scene here at All Points TV, and we're getting the green screen set up, and right now we're just enjoying the green, as we like to do. So you guys at the club, tune in, enjoy your green, and I'll get you updated on what's going to be happening. I'm going to be bringing you some events here. Our first one is this weekend, October 18th. To the fact that no, actually with beans is more of an American thing that's non-traditional. So despite the way you make it, you can enter in either class. It's going to be awesome. Guys, bring in your chili, traditional, non-traditional, whatever. And we're going to tear it up. So that's this Saturday, and boy, we're looking forward to it. Other event we got coming up here, I wanted to mention October 25th. It's our Humane Society Volunteer Day. It's called the Doggy Trick or Treat. And we're sponsoring some cages there in addition to doing this event. So if we have some volunteers for that, we'd be looking forward to it. You can also donate needed items by the shelter there that they need. You can donate those at the snack bar. So if you want to help us out with that, we definitely appreciate it. And we'll be looking forward to that event coming up on the 25th. Other news I wanted to share with you. Down at the Compassion Club, it's been busy. Obviously, October is also known as Outdober. So all the October stuff is coming in. Outdoor growers are starting to bring their stuff down. So it's starting to get a little busy down there, and we definitely appreciate everybody's patience and cooperation as we get into this season. But in addition to this season, we're bringing in some new testing abilities over at our testing center. So stop by, check that out, and get your meds tested. We're now going to be including the availability. It's up to you what you want to get tested, but we're going to be offering 4 additional types of cannabinoid testings. So we have your traditional right now. We offer your original 3, which is your THCA, your CBD, and CBN. And then now we've added on the ability to test for THCV, Delta 8 THC, CBC, and CBG. So we've got the plethora of cannabinoids there. And these are the most common ones that we've come across. These are the ones that we know the most about as far as their benefits. And so if you've got a patient or you yourself are out there looking for a particular strain with particular types of cannabinoids, this is the best way to figure out what's what And now we've got the ability to tell you a little bit more about your strain. So that's an awesome, fantastic opportunity. We're glad to be able to offer you guys. And Sean and Jason over there tearing it up. So I appreciate you guys. Everything's back on track. I know some of you are out there waiting to get some results, and we'll get those to you shortly. In the meantime, we're going to be continuing to get this stuff rolling. So we're excited to offer this, and we wanted to let you know about it. So there you go. That is the testing. And I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be interested to see how the rainbow of cannabinoids looks. I've not seen these previously tested at other places, and this is something new for us. There's a few cannabinoids in there I'm particularly interested in. You might be as well. So let's see what we got out there. All right. In marijuana news, as far as what's going on in Michigan, there's not a whole lot of updates to give you. The same bills that have been sitting there are still sitting there in the Michigan Senate, and they're basically still up for review. We've got the Michigan Provisioning Center Act, which is House bill. I'm not going to give you the numbers. I always forget them. But it's a Provisioning Center Act. You guys know what I'm talking about, along with the edibles bill. So these are the two important ones that our community is most concerned with, and currently right now I guess they're still being reviewed. They've passed through the House, and they're kind of getting bounced around in the Senate. We don't know if this is something that they're going to vote through. There's been mention of it by a few different representatives and senators that they may possibly be looking at this during the lame duck session, which will be coming up here shortly in November. That's after the vote's taking place, before the new crew comes in, while the old one's still sitting there. They'll have the opportunity. It just depends on whether or not it gets on the agenda. And the Senate Majority Leader, Randy Richardsville, is the one who's got that basically up to him. And I'm not sure exactly what he's looking for. There's been some mention that they might want to put some changes in these acts. And if they do, they'll have to be reviewed again by the House. And so there may be some continued work going on, but we don't know exactly where they sit, honestly. There's been some talk that they might review them during this session and that they might do some changing. So we don't really know. The best time right now for you to give your input, it is right now. You give your input before the elections while they're still wanting to take some feedback, and then hopefully they can take some of that and put it in action during the lame duck session. We'll have to see how this goes. It definitely could use some additional clarifications out there as they continue to have additional issues with medical marijuana in various counties across Michigan. Of course, counties that have taken more cooperative approach have seen probably the best in action, if you will, of the program. And I think that really the best overall approach is having the local authorities be able to make the decisions along with the local population. A local control, I think, reflects local interest best on most issues, and I think this is one of them where that is the case as well. So we have yet to see how this is going to go. There's still time for you to put your input. If you want to get a hold of your local representative, state representative, or state senator, you can do so. You know how to do so. Get on their website, email them, phone call, whatever. Only takes a few minutes, and let them know how you feel. There's basically, like I said, the two acts there that everybody's fully aware of. It's not like you're going to be calling about something that they don't know what you're talking about, and now's the time to do it. So get out there and do that. Appreciate that, and that's it for Michigan, pretty much. As far as taking a look at medical marijuana around the country, a few different things going on. I wanted to share with you. We haven't had the podcast here in a couple of weeks, and we'll get you guys back up to date with what's headed around the country. Pull this up here. I know that Florida's got their stuff on the ballot. That's one of the things they're saying here in recent polls. This is from tokeofthetown.com. You guys can check this out, that the medical marijuana amendment may be in danger of failing according to recent polls. So I'll read this to you here. This is obviously a lot of people around here have family in Florida or friends, whatever. Maybe you want to visit there sometime. We've all heard about Florida having a problem with their pill farms, if you will. So there may be some little bit of hesitation there. It says the poll comes from Gravis Marketing. It found that 55% of Floridians plan to vote for the amendment. Here in Michigan, our amendment passed with 63%. So to give you a comparison there, it said here 39% plan to vote no and 7% remain undecided. So and that's considerably down from a previous poll that was given where it had a 64% approval of the amendment. So according to this poll, support may be waning for Florida. Polls can be fickle. Always sort of depends how they pose these questions. A lot of times people are thrown off by the way they describe things. So we don't know how the accuracy necessarily, but at any rate, it'll remain to be seen here, and only got a couple weeks left before the elections come up, and it'll be interesting to get those results. So we'll keep you guys tuned, along with, of course, all the other states out there that have different proposals. I know a lot of folks are also interested in Alaska and Oregon, which both have proposals on the ballot there for their voters to bring out recreational cannabis in addition to their medical programs. So that'll be big news here in the future. Let's see. There was some other news I wanted to share with you. There was some feedback here on the Colorado program. I know they were talking about the medical users and what they'd be allowed to use. Looks like they're going to continue to support their program out there and allow them. And then they also have made some amendments to their recreational program and clarifying based on what type of production centers they're licensed under, how many plants they can produce. Some of the plant counts were kind of interesting to me. I saw some amazing numbers. There was anywhere from like 3,500 plants that would be allowed per growing center, up to 10,000 plants in some cases. So pretty amazing numbers there, and it's I mean, for us here who can only grow 12 plants per patient, those numbers are kind of unfathomable. But some big growing out there for the recreational scene in Colorado. Certainly a lot of growth, a lot of business opportunity. You can imagine the amount of work and resources that it takes to take care of a garden of that size. So you look at the economic impact that Michigan has already had since the inception of its medical program here in Michigan. If we were to expand that and move on into a recreational type, for that purposes, I think economically we would see that much more of an increase as well. So I think it could be a positive, and it continues to be a positive thing out in Colorado as far as the tax revenue that's being generated and also the feedback that's coming from the program. So it's pretty good stuff. I think all in all, as it continues to go, then hopefully that'll be a positive thing for Michigan here in the future.
I've heard some things on the saw some things on the more conservative websites or blog sites or basically dissimulation places, where they give you links to different articles and stuff. And allegedly, there's some big brouhaha about allegedly the medical marijuana patients are using their state given money, whatever you want to call it, to purchase marijuana with. And I have a problem with believing that, but that's what they're claiming anyway. So
what state given money?
Colorado. Yeah, that's what I was like in connection to that.
So maybe like using a bridge card.
Yeah, something like a bridge card. I don't know what they call it there. It's
to purchase
EBT
their
card.
medical marijuana.
And the thing is, that would be a problem with the state right there dealing with that. I mean, if they're getting away with that. I mean, it's possible.
I really think that for folks that have it for medicinal purposes, that it should be included in their regular medicinal financial plan, if you will, and with their health plan. If they're getting pharmaceuticals, obviously those are going to have some type of coverage typically, and I think that same type of coverage should be extended to the use of medicinal cannabis as well. I don't see why there should be a separation there, and whatever the program is what it should be, and so if folks can use their bridge card out there for cannabis, I mean, maybe that's something that needs to be looked at. So I don't know. Let's see here. Any other news we've got for you? Man, all right, here we go. Apologize, I got a little delay on my internet. All right, this is something I wanted to take up because it's something you run across. In Colorado, there was a recent lawsuit that was going on, and this was a pretty big deal. It was from the manufacturer of Reese's, had gone after a smaller company in Colorado called Tincture Bell, and they were responsible for producing edibles, but they had packaged them in very similar looking candy labels like Reese's, Almond Joy, so on and so forth. And this resulted in a lawsuit from Reese's going after them and saying that you had to knock that off. So that's something to be aware of when you're packaging your edibles that you want to stay away from, and not just the lettering and the labeling and so forth, but even right down to the color scheme and so on. So if you've got a chocolate mint patty, you might not want to package it in an aluminum foil looking type of thing with red and blue writing on it.
Or make WWs instead of M&Ms. No.
Right. So it goes without saying there. And you'd think those big guys aren't watching. Yeah, they are. They're going to protect their copyrights, so on and so forth. So stay away from that. Also, it's a good idea to keep that away from that realm so that it doesn't get confused as candy by youngsters, so on and so forth. So especially coming into the Halloween season. So, all right, that's about it for that. See if I've got any science news. There was a medical report released, came out. It said that cannabis may help influence or help absorb. Anyways, it might help with people who experience high trauma accidents and brain injuries specifically. So those folks who had previously been medicating and then were involved in an accident were less likely to have life-ending injuries along with as extensive damage due to the cannabis use. So it's kind of interesting there that it sort of created some type of protective barrier in there. There was a survey that was done, and they had a considerably higher percentage of folks that had cannabis in their urine at the time of the accident were also less likely to have passed away from impending accident. So kind of cool. All right, I got one more thing here I wanted to share with you. This is a list of high CBD strains. So Charlotte's Web, the first one on the list, is being listed as a potential of 20% CBD. That's pretty amazing, 20%. Another one here that's listed out, I'm going to have a problem pronouncing this one, Avidekel. It's Avidekel. It's 15 to 16% CBD. That's one I haven't heard of before. That's pretty cool. And they're both strains that have been reported, like I said, with high CBD amounts. I've also heard of a few others out there. Catatonic is one of the ones, and green crack as well. And a lot of folks out there really are focusing on this with the recent information that's been available, made in the news. These are definitely medicinal type strains that a lot of folks are seeking out. And I think one of the biggest things is you have to have it tested first to be able to know. So, for instance, if you come across some Charlotte's Web or something like that, and it hasn't been tested, you might not want to just take that for granted that it's going to have a higher CBD. It should, but without knowing for sure, you're just taking a gamble. So in some cases, they may not have the results that you're looking for. But if it is one of these types of strains, hopefully it will carry the characteristics of having a higher CBD nature. So, but yeah, the Avidekel. Haven't heard of that one before. That's a new one. I think most of you folks have heard of Charlotte's Web and the others I mentioned, like green crack and catatonic. If there's any others out there, I'd like to know about them. You guys call in, let me know about it, share the information on the web and on the show here. So, all right, that's about it for what I have for you this week. I'm glad to be back in the studio with the new green wall. I love it. I think it's appropriate for the show. John, you got the studio looking good in here, man. And then you guys, don't forget about this weekend's chili cook-off. It's going to be amazing, and we're going to be rocking that. So come on down on Saturday to the club. We'll be enjoying it, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys there. See you guys here next week on the show, and you guys rock it down at the Compassion Club. Thanks for being here.
By the way, I was going to say, too, that was Kevin Manning and his son Ethan were the ones help paint this, and they're the ones that helped bring it up. So credit goes, I like to take the credit, but that's where it goes to.
Right on.
Too, okay.
So Kevin and Ethan?
Yeah, Kevin and Ethan. Kevin Manning and Ethan Manning, his son. So
give a shout out to the Mannings. Definitely appreciate you guys and what you're doing here at the studio. So All Points TV, you guys rock it, and thanks for being here on the Genesee County Compassion Club show.